Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech and this is the unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy A22 along with a quick hands-on review. Before we get started, here's the box. Samsung has launched this phone in 3 different variants in India. Base variant starts at 18,500 rupees for 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. There's another Samsung A22 5G variant that's priced at 20,000 rupees, which comes with the same 6GB plus 128GB of storage. Besides that, we also have another 5G variant which is priced at 22,000 rupees, which comes with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. We have the basic variant priced at 18,500 rupees. Now this phone is available in 2 colors, mint and black, and we have the black color with us right now. Now the main highlights for this phone would be its 48 megapixel camera, its 6.4-inch Super AMOLED display with 90Hz screen refresh rate, faster charging speeds and a bigger battery size. Well, all that really doesn't sound that impressive when compared to other phones, but if you're a Samsung fan and want a retail phone, then let's get on with the unboxing. So here's the box once again. On the front it just says Galaxy A22 and we also get a preview of the phone. On the back side we have some of the highlighting features along with more information. Now let's unbox it. First we have a small box inside the lid. Next we have the phone itself. Following that is a 15 watts power adapter and a USB Type-C charging cable. Inside the smaller box we get a SIM card ejector tool and some documentation. Now let me just remove all these stickers, and this is how the phone looks on the front and this is how the phone looks on the back. Now let's have a physical overview. On the back side this phone has a plastic back panel with a super glossy finish. It obviously attracts a lot of fingerprints and looks pretty messy with all those smudges. At the top we have the quad camera setup followed by a single LED flash, and at the bottom we have the Samsung branding. On the front we have the Infinity U display protected by a 2.5D curved glass. Above the display we have just the earpiece and some sensors. Below the display it's completely plain and the chin is kinda big for the price. Now for the sides, on the right side we have the power and volume buttons. Power button also acts like a fingerprint scanner. These buttons are made of plastic, they have a nice clicky feel to them and they are also sufficiently elevated. At the top we have just the secondary microphone for noise cancellation. On the left side we have the SIM card tray housing 2 nano SIM slots along with a dedicated SD card slot. Finally at the bottom we have the audio jack followed by the primary microphone, USB Type-C charging port and the speaker grill. Now this phone has a thickness of 8.4mm and weighs 186 grams. In hand it feels pretty sleek and weighs pretty decent as well. It doesn't feel too heavy, it feels as if it has a bit of weight to it. That's all. Not a lot in terms of presence. Now these are the complete specifications of this phone. On the rear this phone has a quad camera setup with a 48 megapixel primary camera with f1.8 aperture and optical image stabilization. That's followed by an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera with 123-degree field of view. We also got another 2 megapixel camera for taking macro shots and another 2 megapixel camera for taking portrait shots. For selfies, we get a 13 megapixel camera with f2.2 aperture. Now when it comes to the display, we get a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED display with HD Plus resolution with 90Hz screen refresh rate and a peak brightness of 600 nits. As for performance, this phone sports the MediaTek Helio G80 processor with Mali G52 MC2 GPU with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. Powering this device is a 5000 mAh battery, supports fast charging and comes with a 15 watts adaptive fast charger inside the box. Now this is how the phone looks once we turn it on and set it up. This is the general home screen. This is how the user interface looks like, pretty much like any other Samsung phone. Here's the home screen. Now this is the app drawer. By the way, this phone has FM radio, just in case if you're wondering. And here's the notification panel. Now this is the about page. This phone is running One UI 3.1 based on Android 11 with the May security patch, which is pretty decent. Now as for the storage information, out of that 128GB of space, we get about 105GB of space for our user apps and user data. Out of that 6GB of RAM, we get about 3.6GB of RAM free for our usage right out of the box. Now this is the camera user interface. It looks pretty similar to other Samsung phones. By default we have the photo mode, on the left side we have the portrait mode, on the right side we have the video mode followed by the more section. We have a similar interface even for the front facing camera. Now these are some sample shots. Now let's test the speaker loudness. This phone just has a single speaker at the bottom and this is how it sounds. Now the speaker on this phone is definitely loud enough for media consumption, ringtones and alarms. With that said, it's just a single speaker. Now let's test the fingerprint scanner. This phone actually has a side-mounted fingerprint scanner, which is something I really don't appreciate, but because of the Samsung's cost-cutting effects, we end up with a side-mounted fingerprint scanner. As for the performance, it is pretty good, unlocks the phone within a second. Here's a quick preview. We also get the face unlock feature. In good lighting conditions, it is pretty fast, unlocks the phone within a second. Even in low lighting conditions, it works really well. It takes about 2 to 3 seconds to unlock the phone. Finally, in complete darkness, it's a hit or a miss, and if you bring your phone close to your face, it works, but depending upon the darkness of your wallpaper. Overall, you can use face unlock feature in good lighting conditions, but in low lighting conditions, it's better to go with the fingerprint scanner. Now before I conclude, these are the benchmark scores. So guys, actually I've been using this phone for quite some time now, well, just a couple of hours, but I must say the performance of this phone is pretty decent. I won't say it's buttery smooth, but because of that 90Hz screen refresh rate, everything does feel pretty smooth. With that said, the performance of this phone is really not top notch or the top in the line. It's pretty decent for a basic user, but you really can't compare it with other online exclusive phones. At the end of the day, if you're looking for a retail Samsung phone around 20,000 rupees, then you can definitely consider this phone. It's got decent performance, a pretty good looking display, bigger battery, and also got some pretty decent cameras as well. So guys, what do you think about this phone? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It always helps the channel. With that said, this is Nikhil signing off. See you in my next video.